Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So, I have a canvas that I'm reusing. So it's an old canvas, but I had varnished it previously. So I've prepared the canvas to allow me to pour over again. Well, I'm not going to actually pour straight away. So I'm going to be using Pebio's modelling paste. So there we go, let me just show you. I've got Pebio's modelling paste. I have my palette knife. My canvas is on a turntable, so I'm going to spin whilst I use the palette knife for the modelling paste. And this time you might have seen a previous creation where I used some modelling paste and I used a paintbrush to just paint over the top. I want to pour over the top of this one, but I want to create some texture first. Can you guess what pouring technique I'm going to do? Well, before we do that, let's get the texture on the canvas. I'll talk about the ideas that I've got, and I'm just so excited to continually just try new things. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me week on week. It's really, really appreciated. So, as always, let's see what we can create. So let me just say, this is the canvas that I have prepared that I had a previous design on. You can probably see the design poking through, but because I'd varnished it, I needed to prepare it. So I have just used this. It's acrylic gesso to prime the surface area to allow me to pour or paint over it. And you have to kind of purpose it. You have to kind of prepare the base so that you can pour or paint over, because otherwise the paint would just peel off. So I've done a couple of coats just with a paintbrush, and it's all sealed and ready to use again. So if you're in that situation, you don't have to use this brand, but this is what I've used today to just prepare that base coat. So I'm ready, let's go. So all I'm going to do is take the texture paste, and I'm using my palette knife. I'm literally going to place all the paste in the middle, and then I'm going to smooth out that paste across the surface area of the canvas. And then using my palette knife, I'm going to add the texture. So the idea that I've got in my head is a bit like a flower. I'd like this to be a flower inspired creation. So I want to work the paste across that surface area, but then with my palette knife, start from the middle and do some swipes from the middle to the outer edge. But I'll show you how I do that shortly. So now I've got a good distribution of paste on the canvas. I've now sped this up slightly. I don't want you to get bored, but I do want you to see the full process. And you can see that I'm using my palette knife and I'm just doing lines. I'm doing swipes from the middle to the outer edge, creating that texture as I go. And I'm turning the canvas on a turntable because I want to keep like a circular shape as I'm doing this. So as I start to use my palette knife, you'll see this is the kind of the creation that I've got so far. This is the texture that I've been able to create. So I am going to let this dry and then we continue with the process. Okay, so all the texture is dry. Can you hear that? So it's all dry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to puddle the paint in the middle and around the edge of the middle and then blow it out, a bit like a target shape. But I'm going to hope that the texture really adds some value to that kind of design. So I'm only going to use 4 colours, and there they are. They're all the Jackson brand. So you can see I've got a crimson, an orange, a gold and a silver. They are mixed with pouring medium and water. So this mixture here is 1 part paint, 1 part water, 4 parts pouring medium. And you can see it's very, very fluid. So the idea is to puddle it in the centre. I don't know if you can see all that texture, but let me just get in a little bit closer. You can see the design underneath, but you can see all that texture on top. So let's go. So I'm just going to take each colour one by one, and I'm going to start in the centre of the canvas, puddle the paints, and then the idea is to blow the paint from the centre to the outer edge. And what I'm hoping is that the paint will go quite smoothly over the canvas, but once it's dry, you'll see all of that texture popping through. So let's see if that goes according to plan. But as I say, just 1 colour at a time, puddling it on the canvas and then blowing it out. So my paints are down. I've got enough volume of paint on the canvas to blow the paint out across the canvas. So I'm going to start from the middle to the outer edge, my blow dryer being on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed. And the approach for this one is literally just to start from the middle, blow that paint from the middle of the canvas to the outer edge. And I'm just going to take my time, there's no rush to do this, but I want to keep that even kind of perspective as I blow the paint, so that pink in the middle going into that orange, then the gold and then the silver. And that's what I want to keep, that momentum going around that canvas for this creation. Okay, I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with the composition. I'm really happy with the consistency that I've got with the paint going across that canvas. So at the moment, I'm going to be honest, I can't see that texture that we added right at the beginning, but I'm confident as this dries, the paint will kind of dry up, sink a little bit, and that texture will kind of pop up from the underneath. But that's the plan. So let's see if it really does work. I'm just going to tweak this slightly, and then I'm going to take you in for a closer look so you can see the end result. So that's the wet version, and let me now show you the dry version. And it's exactly as I was hoping. You can see that texture. So that's what I really wanted to create with this piece, and I'm so happy that this has worked out well. And I just love the vibrancy of those colours. I'm trying to show you the texture on the camera, and I'm also wanting you to be able to see the colours quite vibrantly, but I'm not sure you can really see it there. I'm going to stand back a little bit, and I'm also going to pick up the canvas in a minute and kind of tilt it in the light just so you can see that light shimmer on the base of that canvas and how it bounces off from that texture. But I've had so much fun, and you know what, this is about experimentation, seeing what works and maybe learning new stuff that doesn't work as you expected. That's all part of the process. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had fun. I've had a lot of fun, and I'm just excited to continue to evolve, think of some new ideas and test out those theories. So a big thank you for all of your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. And whatever you're up to creatively, don't give up, just keep going. I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye.